Absolutely. It's our first baby talk, and like they said, it is the start of a brand new year. And while we have, all been accustomed to the new norm, there are a couple of routines that we need to get back into. The kids have had a long holiday, and now it's time to get them into preschool. But what are the first steps we should take during a time like this? Well, we catch up with parent coach Laura Markovitz about the first steps to preschool during COVID. Laura, welcome back. So good to have you with us for the new year.
It's good to be here. Good to be with you all.
Happy New Year. Wishing you nothing but blessings and a completely different year to 2020. I think this year we are all filled with... Bank it, girl, bank it. Hopefully you've had a wonderful festive season. Hopefully everyone is feeling rejuvenated and inspired again and ready to tackle the new year. But lest we forget, we are still existing within this COVID-19 reality. During this time that we have to continue to be careful, what do we need to be aware of as parents when we consider preschool?
Yeah, well, I think, any time is when we're starting preschool, even before COVID, it's a time of change. And change can often be difficult, challenging for a lot of people. And now we're adding COVID into the mix, and we've all had it around for a while. So we need to be thinking there are extra pressures on us. And now we're dealing with things like uncertainty. We're dealing with needing to really dig deep and having to be a little bit more flexible and open. So we might have expectations about how it was going to look when our kids started preschool and how we were going to wave them goodbye. I'm sure we didn't have pictures of them with masks and sanitizers in their bags. So we're having to adapt and be thoughtful. And remember, always with anything, a lot comes up for us as parents, so our own fears, our own worries, and we need to be starting there. It's always the place we need to be starting so that we can be thinking about what's happening with our own fears and our own worries, have a healthy place to deal with them, process them, so that we are not putting them onto our kids, especially when they are going off into these big changes into preschool.
Well, they're still going to look super cute with all their masks and their little first day of school backpacks. But how do we support, our kids as they start something new during a global pandemic?
So always it's talking to them. And with little kids, it's talk and it's play and it's connecting. So, we're talking to them about, I said a little bit earlier about the uncertainty and what we can't control, but then it's talking to them as well about preparing them for what we can control. So things like wearing masks, washing their hands, who's going to take them to school, how they're going to get there, who's going to fetch them. So making space to prepare them for that. And I find it's really useful with kids of this age group is to do it in play as well. It's not sitting down and having this big serious talk about you need to know what to expect for play school. We don't want to be intimidating. We don't want to put fears into their minds. So play with them. What's it going to be like when we say goodbye? And I'm going to say, bye, mommy, and I'm going to kiss you goodbye. And when things come out and they might say, well, I don't want to say goodbye to mommy, that we can deal with it as that comes up. So I feel play is very important, talking to them, preparing them for what we do know, and then also preparing them for what we don't know. If they ask us questions that we don't know, it's also okay, remember to say, I'm not sure. I'm not sure how that's going to be. But it's about us holding them and not putting our fears and worries onto them and making space for their own fears and worries, but also their excitement at the same time.
I'm so glad you said that, because it's very difficult for us not to transfer. And I often wonder what the emotional and kind of mental fallout's going to be years from now because of what we've gone through and haven't been able to shield our kids from. But I've learned from my little man, who's been a champion through all of the changes and everything that we've had to deal with over this last year. The one thing that he really does struggle with is change and being surprised by something. So if he's not prepared for it, why is it so important to go through the process, as you say, of play, of connecting, asking those questions, preparing our children mentally and physically for what's about to come when they enter back into the school system?
You know, I mean, the thing that you're talking about is, wouldn't it be wonderful if we could prepare ourselves and our kids for absolutely everything in the world? But that is impossible. And we're never going to be able to prepare for absolutely everything, and that's life. So where we can prepare them and where we can hold them and make space for the good, the bad, and the ugly. I always say we've got to make space for that so that we can help them process some of that, and so that they go in feeling a little prepared, so that where we can think through things, we're helping them process those things. So when they are saying, but I don't want to go to school, I'm going to miss you so much, we don't go, well, it's going to be such fun and you're going to have the best time of your life. We actually make space for that. We can say, yeah, it will be a little bit hard, and maybe you will feel sad to say goodbye to daddy when you go to school. So you know what about we have extra hugs and kisses, and remember, I'm going to fetch you later, or whoever's going to fetch you later, and we're going to do something when I see you again. So it helps them to process some of those things where they can, and that they're not left just to take it all on and for all those feelings to come out kind of in an uncontained way. We're trying very hard to contain things a little bit where we can, for us and for them.
And kids are resilient. Kids are amazing little things, man.
Still so much to unpack.
Yeah, hugely. Adaptability, resilience, unbelievable. We're seeing that all the time, and we have to hold on to that so much because they are incredibly adaptable. We're seeing it all the time.
Laura Markovitz, you're a legend. While you think about how we can get our children to enjoy putting hand sanitizer on, because I'm going to open with that, we'll continue our discussion. We are talking about taking our little ones back to preschool amidst still our current normal, which is dealing with COVID-19, and how do we as parents prepare our little ones for everything that's ahead.